What's up, everybody? Smoove Cosplaya here, your favorite salsa dancing cosplayer. I have with me tonight a special guest returning to the channel. We got Mr. SonOfLightCosplay right here, and tonight we are going to be talking about accuracy. Now, accuracy is a is a topic I covered way back when. I don't know if you guys have been following me since maybe like the first year of my channel. It was actually the first topic discussion that I covered, and I talked about how I believe that accuracy is actually overrated when it comes to cosplay. So that's what we're going to be tackling tonight. I figured since I've gotten a lot better with my delivery, gotten a lot better with my editing, I have a lot more to say about the topic now, and SonOfLight got tons of things to say about it as well. So without further ado, we're going to jump back into why we believe accuracy is overrated. Before we do that, let's first establish what it means to actually be overrated. All right, if you look up the word overrated in any dictionary, whether it's dictionary.com, Webster, anything like that, overrated basically just means that something is valued more highly than it should be. Doesn't mean that it's bad, doesn't mean that it's not important. It just means that people value it more than it should be valued.
Right.
All right. So like, what do you think about that? Like accuracy being valued more than it should be.
As the words of my sensei when I first started cosplaying, she told me that accuracy is BS.
Oh snap.
Now, the phrase meaning that accuracy can be one of those things that takes up so much of your time. However, accuracy in one case could be a challenge to some, whereas it could be a chore for others.
Yeah.
So when you really think about it, accuracy in some accent, at some point is completely BS, because at some point it's going to cause you more problems than it will cause you more of a challenge. I believe that accuracy at some points are needed. Like, for example, if you're doing a mashup, like, myself, because I'm a mashup specialist of sorts. I believe that some parts of accuracy is needed to get a point across, particularly. So in some aspects, that's where accuracy is kind of needed. Now, as far as, the hair is not right, the hair is not accurate, the hair, the earrings, the little bit of accessories after that and whatnot, that can be modified.
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually look into it, putting a spin on certain things actually makes more of a difference too. So again, accuracy is completely played out and overrated in my personal opinion. Because sometimes it pays a lot more to actually be more creative with it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely relate to a lot of those points. We're gonna touch on each one of those a little bit deeper in a little bit. The thing that sticks out to me as far as why it's overrated is this comes from a lot of both. I think it comes both in and out of the cosplay community, but in my experience, what I'm about to say tends to come from outside the community. Like, there's a big misconception out there. A lot of people outside of cosplay think that accuracy is the only thing that matters in cosplay. Like, I've seen way too many comments on social media, on the internet in general, that say, oh, cosplay is all about accuracy, or the only good cosplays are the accurate ones, or if it's not accurate, it's not good. I'm just like, and again, that's only coming from
the outside.
Right. In my experience, I've only heard or seen people who don't cosplay say that. Now, those of y'all watching, understand that I'm not saying that if you don't cosplay that you can't have an opinion on cosplay. That'd be ridiculous. That would be like saying if we go out to eat, neither one of us is a chef, but that would be like saying that we can't have an opinion on the food that we eat because we can't cook. Right. So that's ridiculous. So, but what I am saying is that if you don't cosplay, your opinion does not carry the same amount of weight as someone who does cosplay.
Right.
If you are of the opinion that the only cosplays that you like are the accurate ones, that's cool. I'm not telling you can't like that, but I am telling you that you, as a non-cosplayer, don't get to set the rules for us who do cosplay. You don't get to tell us what does matter and what doesn't. You don't get to set what is valued highly to us. Okay. Right. So, like I said, have your opinion, but just know that it don't hold that much weight to us who actually do it.
Right, and the thing is that, one thing that most people need to understand that doesn't cosplay a day in their life I'm not saying that in a rude sense of a way. But understand that, you know, outside of cosplay, you're outside looking in, and you don't realize that the accuracy of it may be a challenge for some people and whatnot, but in some aspects, accuracy is gonna be a non-factor in cosplay, because a lot of us cosplay characters that are, you know, obviously there's a lot of anatomic discrepancies of sorts. Like, for example, most people would like to argue with the fact that most cosplays cannot be done by black people. I'm sorry, POCs. I'm sorry, I should have said that. Most cosplays can't be done by POCs, when in actuality they're not Asian either. You know, they're not white, they're not Asian. They're, you know, they're fictional characters. So in that aspect, accuracy kind of goes completely out the window, whether you be, you know, a person of color, or, you know, of the hue, of a different hue. You got to understand that, you know, also outside of that, you know, it's an art form. You know,
right.
That cosplay can be interpreted in so many ways by different people, and that makes that cosplayer an artist.
Yeah.
You know, it's their paintbrush, their canvas, their paints, their brushes, their even their paint thinners. You know, everything that they put into work and put into display for everyone to see as far as a cosplay, it's a work of art that they basically came up with, either whether it be they sold it themselves or they bought it off Amazon or wherever they got it from. You know, it's an art form that they basically choose to use of their own accord. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, to that point, one of my favorite memes that I've seen regarding cosplay, and it tackles accuracy, it tackles a whole bunch of other things, but the meme basically stated that cosplay is like fan art, but with costumes. Right. You know, just like with fan art, you might see somebody do fan art of an established canon character, but they change this thing, they change that thing, you know, they make this color a different shade, or they use a different color altogether, or they change this aspect of the costume, they make the character a different race, they make the character a different gender, they make the character a different body size.
They also even smash them up a little bit.
Yeah. So if that person can do it with art, you know, there's nothing stopping us from doing that with
costumes.
With costumes. And, you know, you got some people out there who get mad that it doesn't exactly match this, doesn't exactly match that. Here's the thing. We're not hired by the companies who make these characters.
To quote somebody that you previously had on the show, you don't pay my bills.
What bill you pay?
I'm sorry. That is a running joke, and I love her for that.
Yes, to exactly that point. You guys aren't, and when I say you guys, I mean people who get upset that certain cosplayers don't do things exactly the way it's done on screen, on paper, blah, blah, blah. You guys aren't financing our cosplays.
Right.
If you ain't paying for it, you don't have a say in how we do it. Plain and simple.
Right, but that also kind of like contradicts a little bit of what we were discussing at one point, because a lot of people outside of cosplay, their opinions don't hold as much weight. But also kind of still say that with everything that they basically see, a lot of us cosplayers only just take their comment, you know, in a way that they will never understand it, versus if we were to be the bigger people and say, okay, well, let me explain why this particular cosplay is not going to be accurate to you when it comes to me.
Yeah.
Because the way that I cosplay is completely different from other people.
Right.
Whereas, you know, you can't be anatomically canon to certain characters. Like if you're doing a Nami cosplay, that means you'd have to do some body modifications in order for you to actually accurately get the look down packed.
Yeah.
And, you know, the skin has to be a different hue, or, you know, the hair has to be the exact length and whatnot. And nobody would ever really know that unless there were actually BMI measurements of certain characters being done, and they have to fit those criteria. And that's a lot within itself. But you also got to understand that, if you're outside of cosplay and you're trying to support a cosplayer, think outside the box for a little bit. Don't think that accuracy is the biggest thing that a cosplayer is focusing on. I mean, being accurate is about as easy as me throwing on a shirt every day in every day in the life. Mm-hmm. Whereas, changing it up a little bit, that requires a little bit more critical thinking. Yeah. To basically fit the character. Now, I'm not one to try to, tell people that, but it's just one of those things that a lot of people fail to realize when it comes to cosplayer to non-cosplayer relations, is that we don't educate people enough. Yeah, I personally feel so. As far as the accuracy aspect, we feel like that it is our job as a cosplayer to educate non-cosplayers. Now that can be little, that can be a little tiresome to some. Yeah. But in some aspects and whatnot, there are some people who are actually willing to think outside the box, particularly so.
Yeah, I felt myself doing that with a former coworker. This was more to do with not accuracy, but more so the effort. You guys know me, if you follow the channel for any amount of time, I'm against this whole idea of effort with cosplay. Like, there is no minimum effort requirement. Like, his point was, I like, when everybody does it big and blah, 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 but I don't like the guys who look like they just phoned it in. I don't like the guy who just throws on a t-shirt and a katana blade and says he's cosplaying. And I'm like, I've had to tell him, again, another misconception from those outside the community. They think that it's a go big or go home thing, and it's not. You go as big as you want to. You got some people who actually can do these really big, elaborate cosplays, and today they just don't feel like going, doing all that. Going through all that effort, going through all that rigmarole. They might decide, hey, I just want to do a closet version of this character. Right. I want to do a casual version of this character. It is still cosplay, costume plus play. Nothing in that says you have to have spent a certain amount on it, or that you have to have given a certain amount of effort for it, or that it has to have this big shock value to it. Right. It's still, if you have a costume on your body, and costume is even a loose term there, like, when I dress up as Rude for Final Fantasy VII, all I have to do is throw a suit on. You're not gonna tell me that's not a costume. I look like the character. I was about to say I put effort into it. I'm countering my own point there. Like, I look like the character. So, and that's what the character wears. If that character, Luke Cage, there are certain versions of Luke Cage. All it is jeans and a yellow.
Oh wait, you can't see. Oh God.
All it is jeans and a yellow t-shirt. So are you going to tell that person that they're not cosplaying because the costume of that character doesn't require a lot? I mean,
the minimal effort that a lot of people put out there and whatnot. I mean, honestly, there's no such thing as a minimum effort. It's
relative anyway too.
It's relative.
What's hard for you might not be hard for me. What's hard for me might not be hard for you.
Right. Now we also think about this too, because a lot of times the cosplayer community, I'm not going to say cosplayer community, but a lot of times us as cosplayers, we don't share a lot of information. Yeah. Whereas I have extensive knowledge about Sentai suits and face shells and whatnot. He may not know about it. Yeah. So it is my job and my duty as a cosplayer. Not saying duty, funny. It's my God-given right to pretty much inform him if he wanted to do a cosplay of that caliber. Mm. People that can design the suits, people that can make the suits, people that can make the face shells or whatever. It's up to us as people to pretty much give a lot of information, and that's a lot of things too, because the minimum effort that requires it is, you would think that just throwing on a costume is just one thing, but it's a lot of effort that goes into it. There's a lot of information gathering. There's a lot of piecing and getting together, because a lot of the times the cosplay don't come completely furnished. Yeah. And if they do, they cost a lot. So, sometimes cost efficiency is another thought process that goes along with it. So, as far as effort, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, the effort to save, if you commissioned your cosplay, the effort to save up that much money. Because if you're getting it commissioned, it normally isn't cheap.
No, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, so I spent over 300 on my Napa cosplay. You probably spent around the same on some stuff you're doing. Like, it takes effort to save up that much money, especially if you're like me and you are not used to having good saving habits.
Right.
Like, sometimes that's discipline, that's effort in saving. Like you said, the effort in finding someone who can actually make this thing, the effort in finding that one little part. Like, if you're detail oriented, we're going to circle back to that with accuracy. If you're looking for this minor detail, and this minor detail is hard to make or hard to find, there's effort in finding it or making it. You know, so again, there's
going without it.
Right. So there's a lot more effort that goes into the stuff that you don't think requires effort. And again, effort is relative in the first place, and effort ain't required.
Right.
It ain't required. I want to circle back real quick to, you mentioned like the anatomy of these characters, right?
Right.
So this is why I do not believe that the accuracy of a cosplay is affected by the person within the cosplay at all.
Right.
What I mean is the body type, the ethnicity, and the sex of the person who is cosplaying has no bearing on the accuracy.
Right.
To me, it's just the costume itself. If the costume is accurate, it's accurate. If the costume is inaccurate, it's not accurate. So if I'm black and I'm cosplaying, like we both cosplay different versions of Cyclops.
Yes, we did.
That would say that we are automatically not being accurate because we're not white. I don't agree with that. Or if someone who is, not fit, cosplaying as Thor, not the dad bod version of Thor, like the fit muscular version of Thor. That's saying that they automatically are not accurate because their body doesn't fit. And I'm like, no. That's the reason why I don't believe that is a thing. Y'all might disagree, but that's why I'm not with that.
Also, to throw in another part of that, female cosplayers, there's different body types with them as well.
Yeah.
We have the slim petite, we have the thick, and then we have the the plus sizes. Now, a lot of times, we go into these cosplay conventions, and a lot of characters are being made for different body types and whatever. But then that's basically thinking outside. Well, that's basically thinking inside of the box, where only petite people can cosplay petite characters, and plus size people can only cosplay plus size characters. But you have the ones that are in between, which are the thick ones, as I like to call them. They're the ones getting scrutinized too.
Yeah.
You can't really cosplay this character because apparently whenever you throw the costume on or whatever, it's automatically sexualized. And that's not necessarily true, because if you actually paid attention to a lot of the body types and whatever, there are certain cosplays that are catered to certain body types, particularly. So you also got to take that into consideration too. Yeah. Different body types, different ethnicities and whatnot. Nothing is ever going to be accurate, regardless.
Yeah.
So
that's another reason I think it's BS to say, oh, well, you're automatically not accurate because your body doesn't match. When these characters were drawn, they were not drawn with cosplayers in mind. They were not drawn with people in mind.
None at all.
So, like, there are tons of characters who are muscular beyond anything that an actual human can do. The body, the body proportions, like the boobs are big, the waist is small, the thighs are thick, and the legs are long. I'm like, nobody legitimately looks like that,
Nobody that I know.
Right, so it's ridiculous to expect people to have to match that in order to be accurate, if accurate is their goal. Let's look at some other things, like say Wolverine is 5'3", right?
Yes.
Wolverine is 5'3". I have yet to see an actual cosplayer who cosplays Wolverine actually be 5'3".
Right.
Am I going to tell them they're not accurate because they're not actually 5'3"? No. Starfire is what, 6'7"?
6'7", give it to a centimeter or two.
She's way taller than the average woman.
Right.
I have yet to see a Starfire cosplayer that was that tall. Are we going to sit here and tell those Starfire cosplayers that they're not accurate because they're not exactly that tall?
No.
When's the last time you seen a Juggernaut cosplayer who, now I've seen Juggernaut listed as 6'10", I've seen him listed as like 8 feet and anywhere in between. When's the last time you seen a Juggernaut cosplayer be anywhere close to that?
I seen a Juggernaut cosplay and I was immediately intimidated. And then the funny thing is though, he was actually my height and I'm 6'2".
Right. So you see how ridiculous it is to expect this body matching to play a part in the accuracy? So yeah, that's another reason why we believe that this overemphasis on accuracy is a bad thing. Not accuracy in and of itself, but just the overemphasis. So that overemphasis on accuracy can cause a lot of other things. Like, so just like we said with the body thing, like, so that causes body shaming, that causes racism,
body negativity,
because
it's bad enough people in this day and age already suffer from body negativity as a whole. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Actually, that's here and there.
Yeah. So there's elitism that is a result of the overemphasis on accuracy. Now that's where, like I mentioned before, how a lot of this overemphasis on accuracy comes from outside the cosplay community. This is where it comes from within. You got people who you got some cosplayers who are super accurate about everything, and now that's fine in and of itself. I love being accurate myself at times. But then you got some people who are super accurate and they turn their noses up at anybody else whose cosplays aren't as accurate.
Right.
So that causes elitism there. There's also classism because
Classism?
Yeah, classism, because here's the thing. To be accurate with certain things, you got let's say if you want to do foam armor or something like that, that a lot of these things, like with sewing, being a seamstress, whatever the most appropriate term is for that, you need a lot of room when you're in your place of residence. It takes the skill to learn that. It takes, money, time. A lot of us don't have that disposable time, money, space to be able to store this stuff, to be able to learn the skill. Now, I want to, be able to sew myself. I want to get better at foam armor building. Those are things that I want to do, but I'm not going to wait until I have those skills to cosplay. But this overemphasis on accuracy, only certain people have the means to achieve that.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with trying to find someone that actually is in that same field. Like, there's a guy that I know who's very attentive to detail when it comes to making props or making armor or something like that, and they're very attentive to detail. Versus there's a person, versus another person who decides, hey, I want to make this and whatnot, and it's not going to be as accurate, but it's fun to build. So in retrospective, there's a level of skill there, but at the same time, it's not to the point where this person is higher than the other. Whereas this person was always down here at some point, but they basically rose themselves up by learning and getting to know certain materials and stuff like that, even doing tutorials and whatever, and listening to certain people. And that's when they rose up, versus a person always being down and not really just paying attention to anything or whatever, and they're not ever going to evolve. So it's other instances in that, but the point is that classism obviously is a thing here. So not many people really pay attention to that. So
yeah, and I think a few other things with accuracy. So there's some things that I personally stress higher. I'm sorry, not stress, but certain things that I value higher than accuracy. Now, don't get me wrong. I love accuracy. I love to be accurate at times. But going back to that meme, with cosplay being like fan art, but with costumes. We all have the choice of how accurate we want to be with something.
Right.
No, we shouldn't be. I don't feel like we should be pigeonholed into either you're gonna be accurate or you're gonna remix things. Like, just like cosplaying your way. Plug, big shout out to Bar Fox out there, the creator of this movement here. Cosplaying your way. Cosplaying, like, there are times where there are certain characters that if I can't be 100% accurate with it, I don't want to do it. Like, if I can't make it match it, I don't want to.
Right.
Like, for instance, I'm going to do Sagat at some point.
Do it.
Now, I am going to do it. And
do it.
I'm big on body positivity. Like, I'll tell somebody, I will tell somebody all day, hey, if you don't care about how the body looks,
do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Do it.
Man, stop.
Do it.
Now, personally, I do not want to do Sagat until my abs are right.
Understandable. But that's a goal for you.
Right. That's a goal for me, and that's me personally making that decision. I'm not saying that because somebody else out there said you can't do Sagat because you ain't got a six-pack yet. Now I say F that.
Yeah.
But I personally do not want to walk around with my shirt off unless I get my waistline together. But that's just my personal decision.
Right.
I feel if you out there want to do a cosplay of a character and that character's ripped and you're not, or that character is not big and you're big, I support you doing that. If you cool with it, if you don't mind, it don't matter. I support you.
Right.
For that particular cosplay, I don't want to do Sagat until my abs are right. Now, I cosplay Psylocke from X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a woman. I'm not a sexy Asian woman. And she don't have a mini keg like I do. If I don't hold it in, it's a little big. But I still cosplay that because I still feel comfortable doing that. You know, I'm not going to let that stop me. For that particular cosplay, I don't particularly care. But certain other ones, like going back to Luke Cage, I personally feel like I'm just going to be a guy in a yellow shirt if I do that version of Luke Cage.
With bullet holes if you feel like it.
Now there are some people who do that version of Luke Cage, and I'm not going to tell them they look like just a random person in a yellow shirt. I think they look good. Just personally for me, I'm not going to do that version of Luke Cage until I get a little bit more swole. But there are people out there who do it, and they don't fit the body type. I fully support that. Do you? If that makes you happy with that cosplay, do that. Cosplay your way. Right.
I mean, and it's okay to put a goal for yourself as far as when you do a cosplay. Personally, like I said, I too was also finna do Sagat, but personally, it's more the reason for me not doing it is because not because of the abs thing and whatnot. It's more so I need to get overcome something before I do it. Yeah. You know, so once I overcome that particular thing and whatnot, and for those who don't know, I suffer from a little bit of body negativity myself. You know, I'm not the most fit person in the world, nor am I the most unhealthy person in the world. But when it comes to Sagat, you know, there's just certain levels of things that you would do for a cosplay. Yeah. And that is perfectly fine. But to pretty much say that I won't do it because I don't fit the criteria and whatnot and whatever, that doesn't apply to certain cosplays, whereas it's something that you want to overcome first before. Right. You know, so in your case, same thing. You know, it's something that you want to do for yourself first before you do the cosplay. So a lot of times that's what you want to do. So it's not bad to actually say, hey, I don't want to do this cosplay until I do this first and whatnot. And sometimes it may be because you want to do this cosplay first and finish it to its degree, then come back to this. Yeah. So in retrospective, you know, setting goals for yourself doesn't necessarily kill you from wanting to do a cosplay. It's something that you basically work to in order for you to get to said cosplay.
Yeah, and I finally remembered my original point with this. It's circling back to a personal choice. You chose to be okay. You choosing to be okay with not looking like the character in body, or you choosing to say, "Hey, I want to look like that character in body, so I'm going to wait until I get there." Right. Right. So us having the freedom to choose that, I want the freedom to choose to be accurate with this character, but make that character fit me on this character. Right. So just that choice of just the freedom basically. Right. So the things that I value more than accuracy, not that I don't value accuracy, just at certain times I do, sometimes I don't. So first of all, creativity. Now, I'm going to also mention fun in just a second. I want to make it clear here that I'm not saying that accuracy and fun are mutually exclusive, nor am I saying that accuracy and creativity are mutually exclusive. What I'm saying with that is, so say with creativity, if we say that accuracy is the only goal, and again that's a choice. Accuracy is the goal only if you choose it to be. Right. So if you are choosing to be, I'm sorry, not choosing to be accurate. If accuracy is the only goal, period, that doesn't leave room for certain types of creativity. Right. Now, creativity still comes within accuracy because sometimes you have to be creative in how you achieve said accuracy. Or
accuracy is pretty much a blueprint before your creativity comes in.
Right. So I may choose to use to get something 3D printed in order to achieve this accuracy. You may choose to use armor, to do foam to achieve this accuracy. We both achieve the same goal with different things. So you have to get creative sometimes in achieving accuracy. So like I said, accuracy and creativity are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
But when we only focus on accuracy, we don't get certain types of creativity.
Right.
We wouldn't get the mashups that we have.
Right.
We wouldn't get certain
New versions.
new versions of characters. You wouldn't get like I saw someone do Iron Man, but they were dressed as an iron that you use to iron your clothes. Yes,
That really did happen.
But they had the arc reactor in the middle of the costume, so they still evoked I don't remember what word is proper. They still invoked Iron Man within that pun there.
Right.
I saw a woman dressed as Han Solo. She had the Han Solo costume, but she had a Solo cup around her.
Bruh. Wait, I got a good one. I got a good one too. So I saw a person cosplay as Rock Lee, right?
Right.
But they literally had a Rock Lee headpiece with googly eyes and whatever, and they made themselves Brock Lee.
Wow.
I'm gonna see myself out.
Wow.
That
But
actually was a
you guys get our point. If we were only allowed to do 100% accurate costumes, we wouldn't get all that. We wouldn't get that hilariousness. We wouldn't get that epicness that comes with thinking outside the box. That comes with being more creative.
Right.
So again, accuracy and creativity are not mutually exclusive, but if we only focus on just accuracy, there are certain types of creativity we don't get. Right? So accuracy and fun, again, accuracy and fun are not mutually exclusive. But so accuracy, I was chatting with one of my last interviews, Brown Sugar Outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
For us, being accurate down to these minor little details is fun. Like getting this, when I showed you earlier off camera, my Napa cosplay,
right?
And I had a Chaozu doll taped to my back.
Yeah.
Being accurate to that scene in Dragon Ball Z. So that was fun for me, hitting that little minor detail that a lot of people, when they see it, it sets them off. That makes their day to see someone, go for that little minor funny detail there. So for people like us,
one though, by the way.
was that?
We're gonna get a bigger one.
Yes, we need a bigger one. Yes, man, that Chaozu doll is like this big. Anyway, so for some of us, accuracy is fun. The fun is in the accuracy. For some people, accuracy is not fun. Why? Because those little minor details can be stressful.
And expensive.
Stressful and expensive.
Sorry, it is.
So for some people, that causes stress. And cosplay, costume, play. Now, for the most part, a lot of people take that play to mean playing as a character. I personally take that play to mean having fun.
Right.
So I'm all about putting the play back into cosplay. So why would you stress over these details if that's gonna stress you out? If you're being stressed out, it stops being fun for some people. What's that?
I just thought of a dope ass concept.
Oh, what's that?
Cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
As in, remember Kid and Play?
Damn.
Come on. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Y'all heard it here first. But yeah, so for some people, being accurate takes the fun out of it for them.
Right.
Yeah, so it causes too much stress, it causes too much anxiety. It's too much anxiety for them to worry about these minor little details that you at home, who may or may not cosplay, you're looking for that. But for them, they could care less about it. And if they care about it, they might care too much to the point where it's toxic for them. So they decide, you know what? F it if this color isn't the right shade. F it if I'm cosplaying Domino and my patch isn't on the right eye. Or if I'm cosplaying Bishop and my M is not on the right eye. For them, it's too stressful for them to worry about that. And I don't think they should be shamed for that. If they decide that, hey, I'm happy with this the way it is, who cares if you don't like it? I'm happy with it. I'm going to have fun with it.
As you should. And the thing is that we sometimes forget that it's about fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I also agree with his sentiment of putting the play back in cosplay. That's a status, by the way.
There you go.
The thing is that we are just a bunch of adults dressed up in costume to pretty much get away from our day-to-day.
Right.
Because our day-to-day is stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Our day-to-day sucks. Adulting sucks.
Right. So why escape from this one stressor to go to another stressor?
Right. So that's a whole nother stuff. We're gonna talk about that in the car. the fact is that we dress up in costume, we're having fun, and that's all that really matters. If we were to try to go for these movie roles and whatever, that would be first expensive, because you got to think about it. Big movie companies literally spend a metric ton of money to make a costume as accurate as they want it to be. Any movie star could tell you that any costume that they come up with and whatever, they can't necessarily take off set unless you're Ryan Reynolds. That's a whole nother story. You can't take off set because, first of all, that was a lot of money in the budget that went into that particular costume. So think about it like this: for us average Joes, or average Jills, as I like to call it, that would be quite expensive to be as accurate as the movies or anything like that. And plus, again, stress comes into play as well, because you can't ever be this accurate, so therefore it becomes a problem, and then you scrap the whole entire idea. It's all about fun in the end, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes that's all you ever really got to put in your mind to think about when you cosplay. You're just having fun with it, and sometimes accuracy can be completely missed. Sometimes accuracy can be one of those things. But also, if you get a costume and you don't feel like it is accurate enough or whatever, mod it. Mod it is not really that hard. If you are a seamstress of level 1, which meaning if you know how to put a put a thread through a needle, and you can probably stitch up a few things here and there and whatever. That's all the things you will probably need to pretty much mod a certain character's costume. Or if you need to throw some armor on a cosplay that apparently didn't give you armor, commissioning people, learning how to do armor, using patterns. There's a bunch of tutorials out there on YouTube. Shameless plug. There's a bunch of YouTube tutorials and whatnot for you as a cosplayer that is actually on the upcoming or never knew anything about cosplay. Can look at to do. So in retrospective, sometimes you just gotta do things your way in order for you to be happy.
We're gonna milk the mess out of that.
We're gonna milk it. Because I love these people.
So circling back, so you mentioned how there are times where cosplayers can end up making something that is movie accurate, right? So again, circling back to a point I made earlier, yes, there are some cosplayers out there who can make something that even looks better than what's on screen. Like
my never-ending dreams. Sorry,
Apocalypse. But there are many cosplayers out there who have matched and exceeded what we've seen on the movie screen.
Right.
Just because you see
and
that
mangas.
happen, yes,
and mangas.
Just because you see that happen with some cosplayers, that does not mean that that's the bar for cosplay as a whole. That's not the rule.
Honestly, that's a whole nother topic matter if you ask me. Talk about the setting the bar. Write that down. Anyway, setting the bar for cosplay.
Right. Another, or like going back to the body image thing. Like one of my favorite cosplayers out there, Alicia Marie Body. She achieved what how her body looks because she was inspired by comic books. So she literally looks like an action figure. Like I am jealous of her abs all day long. She's beautiful. Her muscles are toned and everything. Abs on point. Like she probably washes her clothes. I'm joking. Washboard stomach joke. Sorry. Anyway,
but it's true.
Right.
Probably.
But just because people like her, people like Lost and Mash, people like a lot of other people who are able to achieve that level of body goals. Just because they're able to do it.
Dominic Scott too, don't forget that.
Right. Who?
Dominic Scott.
Oh, yes. Just because they're able to do it, that doesn't mean that that's the bar for cosplay. Okay?
Right.
They're on a whole nother level on their own. Alright? So don't come and see this other cosplayer who may not be body goals, who may not be super fit, who may not be super muscular, who may not be hot or whatever. Just because, so don't look at them and say, oh well, this other cosplayer is able to do it, why can't you do it? that's a whole nother thing. Like, for example, I met this guy who was a part of the 300 Spartans group, right? I took a picture of his girlfriend was dressed as Pikachu. Like, it was a really creative version of Pikachu. Creative, yes. So I took a picture of her, and I told him, like, dude, I want to be like you when I grow up, because I saw that he's chiseled, and he said, dude, no, you don't, because you will have to give up everything you love. That's what he legit told me to achieve that kind of body.
I don't know how to feel about that compliment.
Because here's the thing, no, not really a compliment. What he was saying was that in order to achieve that level of body composition, to achieve that level of muscle, that small level body fat, you have to sacrifice a lot. And it's unfair to expect that of every cosplayer, just because certain cosplayers can achieve that can achieve what's on the screen and what's on the comic book. It's not fair to expect every cosplayer to be able to match that, because again, that goes back to the classism again. Not all of us have the time to be able to devote to
working out
that much, and not all of us are genetically built that way. There are some of us who will never achieve that. So again, just another reason why accuracy, or the expectation of accuracy, can be toxic
and BS.
Yes, that.
To add on, and this is a shameless plug, but not really, a shameless plug. Chris Calico made a song. It's called "Wait," and it's really symbolic, because this is pretty much a theme song for pretty much any cosplayer that's ever going through that particular moment in life. And it's not particularly, set for cosplayers, but in retrospective it is, because this is for all body types. Sometimes you have to realize that, acceptance in your body type and whatnot is what makes you a divine cosplayer in a way. I know people who have different body types that has exceeded doing the absolute most with cosplay that a lot of people would never even dream of, doing cosplays. To name a few off the top of my head that I can think of, Alley Cat Cosplay. She's one of the cosplayers who I personally feel like is fine on her own. But yet she's amazing. But she's also working on her body fitness and whatnot, and that's a goal that you can admire, and she wants to change that for herself. But yet outside of that, with the weight that she had, or the weight that she feels like she was at the moment, she still did amazing cosplays. There's a bunch of other cosplays that I can think of right now. Stellar Nebula. She's exceeded in a lot of cosplays too, and a lot of times she feels like she may need to lose a couple pounds and whatnot. So you never know what really the struggle of a lot of people's mindsets is whenever you tell them, oh, this character is not accurate because of your body type and whatever. You never know what kind of battle they may have. So
remember, there's a human being on the other side of that screen.
Yes.
Basically, too many people forget that. So too many people think, oh well, you have the audacity to make yourself visible on the internet, so you must be okay with me tearing you down. That is a human effing being on the other side of that keyboard that you wouldn't have the guts to say that to in person.
No, they wouldn't, because at the end of the day, the trolls feed off of that energy. And if you don't give that person, that troll, that energy and whatnot, dare I say this without getting your video taken down, but they die off if you don't feed the trolls. That's what they feed on. They feed on the fact that that you getting torn down by their words give them power. And so if you don't acknowledge it, or if you basically just reject that particular energy and whatnot, they are basically defeated, and they're basically dried out, and they have to find some other form to nourish themselves and whatnot. So kill off the trolls. Don't feed into their mindset, because 9 times out of 10, the ones that are trolling you are the ones that are having insecurities, and they're projecting their insecurities off onto you. It's
a slight counter to that, and this is, you just reminded me of another video I'm going to do at some point. And I know I say this all the time, but I'm putting this on my list as soon as we get done, so I don't forget. But I do agree with the fact that if you don't give them that energy, they'll just fall off. That's what they want. But I will also tell y'all, if you encounter trolls, because if you cosplay and you put yourself out there on the internet, you have to expect, you don't have to be okay with it,
but expect
you don't have to be okay with it. I'm stressing that, because I feel like too many people say that and they're enabling the trolls to continue to do it. You have to expect it, because you can't really stop them, but you don't have to accept anything. Expect it, but don't accept it, if that makes sense. Expect it, but don't accept it. You don't have to accept any of that negativity. I say that to say, if you feel like it's gonna make you feel better in that moment to let that troll have it, let them have it. Because too many of us get that, and if we respond, somebody else on the net calls us out for responding. No, you shouldn't have given that energy. You gave them what they want. And I'm like, why aren't you saying this to the troll? Why are we getting reprimanded for responding, but the troll isn't getting?
And the funny thing about that is, if you speak out for yourself and whatnot, and there's sometimes,
now you're the bad guy.
No, and there are some times where if you even speak out against the trolls or against the bullying and whatnot, let's be brutally honest, a lot of us have common sense and whatnot, but the trolls do not. There are people that are aligned with you, and they'll be like, okay, so we're doing this today and whatever. All right, Avengers Assemble.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yes.
And it happens a little bit too often with trolls, because trolls feel like that they're invincible by just tackling on one person by themselves and whatnot. But once they realize that they're completely outnumbered, that's when they pretty much shrivel up and hide away into their cave.
Yeah. And that's why I say handle trolls in whatever way you see fit. If you see it fit that you should just ignore them and not give them that energy, do that. If you see it fit to give them a piece of your mind, or to have your friends jump on them and drag them through the mud, do that too. Because here's the thing: either way, those trolls are going to get what they want. So trolls want to, they want that negative energy back. They want you to respond, but they also want to say something negative and not have any repercussions. So either way, they're gonna get something they want. So you might as well do it in whatever way makes you feel better at that moment.
Because at the end of the day and whatnot, those words they can say words that won't really hurt you, but at the same time, they can't really physically stop you from doing what you want.
Right.
If you want to do this cosplay if you want to be Tsunade, and apparently you don't have the assets for it and whatever, do it anyway.
Right. Right.
They're gonna, and the biggest thing out of this whole thing, and then I'm gonna shut up after this. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But Medea said it best. People will talk about you until the day you die. You can't stop them. You're not gonna be able to stop these people. The only thing that's keeping you from living your life is you. So, in retrospective, do what you feel is happy. Makes you happiest in life. Because at the end of the day, you cosplay your way, but at the same time, trolls gonna be trolls.
Trolls gonna troll.
Don't feed them the energy.
Yeah. So, last thing I'll say before we wrap up. Last thing I would say that I value above accuracy is recognizability. And so when it comes to remixing characters, doing your own version of a character, for me personally, as long as you still recognize me as that character, that's what I'm happy with. Say, for instance, I'm doing Trunks soon. I'm going to be doing the BoJack Unbound version of Trunks, where he has his long hair, but that jacket that he has his sleeves cut off.
All right.
Now, Trunks, his pants are typically dark gray, but his tank top is black.
Right.
I personally don't like the dark gray. I like all black.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing black sweatpants with that. Now I have the right shoes for it. I have a black tank top. Now I'm actually mixing different versions of Trunks with that. The version of Trunks at the very end of Dragon Ball Z, where after the Buu fight, but they showed them grown up. They showed Goten and Trunks grown up. Trunks has a black tank top similar to what adult Trunks would wear, but it says Capsule across the front. Right. Now, I don't have that same Capsule tank top, but I have one that has a Capsule Corp logo on it. I'm going to throw the jacket on. I'm going to get the sword and the belt and the strap made. If you guys have seen my cosplays, you know that anytime I do anything with long hair, I use dreads for it. So I'm going to get a blonde dreadlock wig, dye it lavender for his hair.
There's 2 ways I can help you with that, by the way. This is gonna be off camera.
Okay, cool. So that, and then also, if I do, I'm aiming for doing this at Anime Week Atlanta, which is coming in October. Don't know how much better COVID will have gotten by then, so I might incorporate a, his in Dragon Ball GT, he would wear that handkerchief, that lavender handkerchief around.
Right.
So I might incorporate that to kind of, in case we still need masks by then. So I'm actually mixing several different versions of Trunks together. And it may not be accurate to one version of Trunks, but you're gonna know I'm Trunks. So to that end, I'm like, hey, as long as you can still tell what character I am, I'm happy. I don't particularly care about being accurate for this particular character.
I'm gonna throw something else at you, actually, because this is actually on the way to me as of right now. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're a fan or even heard of Demon Slayer, right?
Heard of it. I won't recognize anything, but I know the name.
So the Demon Slayer Corps have a typical outfit and whatnot, and then the stronger or the more notable characters have Hyoris that's over the costume.
Yeah.
So I did an Afro Zenitsu. Did pretty well at Anime Day.
Oh, okay. I know which one. I know what you're talking about now.
Did pretty well at Anime Day and whatnot. So I figured, why not up the scale a little bit? Because me, I like to mash up things. So I have a Haori that's coming to me. That's of the Kurama Link version of Naruto. And it looks, and I have to show you the picture of it. I think I showed you the picture of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
And I'm basically doing a different type of Demon Slayer of sorts from the Demon Slayer core, but it's incorporating Naruto effect, elements into it. And you'll know what it is by looking at it, because there's still the Demon Slayer core outfit, but yet at the same time the Haori is different. The sword will be different, and even the shoes will be different. So it's just incorporating certain things or whatever, or building around said template and whatever. It also changes the game as well.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to go outside the box and be creative.
Right.
And also don't be afraid to change things to suit your taste or to suit your comfortability.
Yeah.
If you have to, because at the end of the day, like I said before in the video, you're a cosplayer. This is your canvas, this is your paintbrush, this is your paint, even paint thinners.
Yeah.
And by paint thinners, I mean the modifiers.
Right.
So,
yeah.
sometimes you just gotta think outside the box.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, recognizability over accuracy. And again, sometimes I do that. There are times where I want to be completely accurate. There's some times where I'm like, I'm gonna do it my way, and as long as you can still care.
Off grid.
Right. As long as you can still tell that I'm that character, I'm happy. Now, I don't push that on anybody. Some people might not value accuracy or
creative
or what's the word I'm looking for? I just said it. Accuracy or recognizability. Right. So there have been times where I've seen somebody and I can't tell what character they are, and then they tell me what character they are, and I'm like, I don't say this out loud, but in my head I'm like, I couldn't tell you was that character. But they're not cosplaying for me. If they're happy with that character, if they're happy with that cosplay and how it looked to them, who cares if I recognize it? Now, to that end, if you're going to do that, this is a point I made in my obscure characters video. You have to be okay with people not recognizing it, right? So you can't do something that's not recognizable. I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can't do something that's not recognizable, but also be mad that people aren't recognizing it. So if you're going to not go for accuracy or recognizability, you also have to be okay with people not recognizing it. Otherwise, that's just setting yourself up for failure. Right.
We're not ever doing that again.
that was a little eerie right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so y'all, that is about an hour's worth of why we think accuracy is overrated. Not bad. We're not shaming people who want to be accurate. I've been accused of that before. People have taken my words and twisted them.
No.
We're not shaming people who want to be accurate. We're not shaming people who want to actually look like the characters on screen. We're not shaming people who want to be fit like them. We're just saying that overemphasizing accuracy can lead to a lot of negative things. Right. This is why we feel that accuracy is overrated, or that accuracy is bullshit.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that is it. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good time. Whatever con you're going to next, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Follow. Oh, Son of Light. Where can they follow you at?
Oh, just follow me on IG, TikTok, and Twitch. All of them is SonOfLightCosplay. You know, and most likely you will probably see me on Twitch as of tomorrow. So check me out on Twitch, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And above all else, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And you know, definitely hit Smoove Cosplay with that subscribe.
Thank you. But that is it. Y'all have a good night. See you in the next video.
Cheers.
Peace.